The United Nations General Assembly Hall buzzed with tension. The air was thick with anticipation, as if everyone sensed that something unusual was about to unfold. Delegates from every corner of the globe filled the iconic chamber, their conversations a low hum beneath the grand dome. October 20th, 2025, was not a typical day of diplomatic exchanges. The city outside was gray and somber, but inside, the mood was electric. This was a day that would be remembered, not for treaties or resolutions, but for a single, unexpected voice. A wild card was on the schedule, Leo Reyes from the Philippines. His name stood out among the usual list of dignitaries and seasoned diplomats, a name unfamiliar to most in the room. Not an ambassador, not a president, just Leo Reyes. No titles, no entourage, just a man with a story to tell. Whispers filled the room. Who was this guy? Was he a last-minute replacement, or was this some kind of elaborate mistake? The press gallery buzzed with confusion. A community organizer? A fisherman? Reporters scrambled for background, searching for any detail that might explain his presence. The mystery was the main event. All eyes were on the empty podium, waiting for the unknown speaker to appear. World leaders shifted in their seats, skeptical. Some looked amused, others annoyed, as if their time was being wasted. Was this a mistake? A prank? The uncertainty rippled through the hall, unsettling the usual order. Leo was a blank slate, a disruption in the polished world of diplomacy. He stood backstage, clutching his notes, heart pounding, knowing the world was about to judge him. The atmosphere was a mix of curiosity and condescension. Some delegates leaned forward, eager for something new, while others dismissed him before he even spoke. Delegates looked intrigued or bored, scrolling through Railway. Shonon, Soan Kurninas, Ruborwas. Chon Son to Railway. Checking messages or glancing at their watches, expecting another forgettable speech. The UN crowd is tough, they've heard it all. Decades of speeches, promises and rhetoric had made them hard to impress. But Leo was about to crash the party. He walked toward the podium, not with the swagger of a politician, but with the quiet determination of someone who had something real to say. He wasn't just bringing a speech, he was bringing his life story. In his hands, a worn notebook filled with memories, hopes, and the voices of his community. The world leaders didn't know it yet, but they were about to get a lesson in true global communication. Not the kind found in policy papers, but the kind that comes from lived experience. Sometimes the most powerful messages come from unexpected voices. The world stage was about to be shared with someone who spoke for the unheard. Leo was bringing the smell of the sea, the warmth of his village, and the dreams of people who rarely get a seat at the table. He was about to show what true global communication looks like, raw, honest, and deeply human. The world was watching, ready to see if he belonged. Cameras zoomed in, capturing every nervous breath, every hopeful glance. They were about to find out. In that moment, the world held its breath, waiting for the unlikely voice to speak. Who is Leo Reyes? Not your typical UN speaker. He grew up in a small fishing village in the Philippines. His world was one of monsoons and fishing nets. He wasn't representing a government, he was representing a people. He saw climate change firsthand, not as a chart, but as rising waters. Leo was a storyteller, translating complex issues into urgent realities. English was a tool, not an ornament, flavored with his native Visayan language. His English wasn't perfect, but it was powerful and real. He was just a guy from a village, armed with a powerful story. The world leaders saw a fisherman, but they were about to meet a warrior. They were about to meet the real Leo Reyes. Back in the Philippines, the nation was glued to their screens. It was a national event, like the World Cup or a Manny Pacquiao fight. This was one of their own, Leo, speaking on a global stage. Filipinos felt a personal connection to this moment. He was carrying the flag, not just literally, but in his voice. Underneath the pride, there was a nervous energy. Filipinos know the world judges accents harshly. As Leo prepared to speak, a silent prayer. Please, let them listen. Let them hear his heart. This moment was bigger than Leo. It was validation for every Filipino told their English wasn't good enough. As Leo stood at that podium, he was the embodiment of a nation's hope. The Philippines was watching, hoping the world was ready to listen. They were proud, but protective. They were cheering, but bracing for criticism. This was their moment. There's an unspoken ranking of English accents. At the top, British RP and Standard American English. These are the accents of power, the default for global leadership. Then there's the rest of the world. Accents from Asia, Africa, and Latin America are often devalued. Filipino English, despite its fluency, is seen as the English of service. The world relies on Filipino English daily, yet devalues the speaker. This bias creates a psychological barrier. It tells people their voice makes them less credible. Leo Reyes was about to confront this bias head-on. He was stepping onto a stage where his voice would be judged, but he was ready to prove them wrong. Leo felt the weight of his accent his entire life. In his village, English was a sign of education, but outside, it felt like a wall. He was teased for his Visayan accent. He started speaking less, afraid of ridicule. This insecurity followed him into adulthood. He was once told his English lacked clarity. It wasn't his knowledge questioned, but his identity. For years he tried to change, mimicking American tones. He felt like an imposter in his own voice. The self-doubt was a constant whisper. Even as a respected leader, it persisted. As he prepared for his UN speech, the whisper became a roar. He was terrified of his own voice, but he knew he had to speak, not just for himself, but for his people. He was ready to face his fears. He was ready to be heard. He was ready to be Leo. Filipino English is a superpower. It's a unique, legitimate variety of English. The Philippines is one of the largest English-speaking nations. Filipino English powers global industries, like call centers. It's a bridge connecting the Philippines to the world. The prejudice against it is rooted in a colonial mindset. Languages evolve, and Filipino English is a global asset. Leo Reyes was about to wield his accent as a superpower. He was ready to show the world its true value. Leo's turning point came from his community. It wasn't a moment he expected, but it was one that would shape the rest of his life. After a devastating typhoon, a journalist arrived in his village, eager to capture the voices and stories of those affected. Leo was nervous, his hands trembling as he tried to flatten his accent, worried that his words wouldn't be understood or respected. An old woman, wise with years and experience, gently advised him, "Just talk like you talk to us. Speak from your heart, not from fear." In that moment, Leo realized his true power was in authenticity, not in trying to sound like someone else. His community followed him because he spoke from the heart, not because he conformed to someone else's expectations. True communication, he learned, is about delivering a clear message and forging a genuine connection with others. Leo embraced his accent, letting his Visayan tongue shine through every word, every story he shared. His accent wasn't a barrier, it was a bridge, a living part of his story and his heritage. It carried the warmth, the rhythm, and the music of his home, reminding him and others of where he came from. He became a powerful storyteller, weaving humor and emotion into his words, captivating his audience with every tale. He found his rhythm, speaking with conviction, authenticity, and a newfound confidence that inspired those around him. People leaned in, eager to listen, drawn by the sincerity and passion in his voice. They connected with the human being in front of them, not just the words, but the soul behind them. Leo had finally found his true voice, not by changing it, but by fully accepting and celebrating it. He was ready to speak on the world stage, to share his story with people far beyond his village. He was ready to be heard, to let his voice echo and inspire others who felt the need to hide their true selves. He was ready to be Leo. This was his breakthrough, the moment he stepped into his own power. He was ready to make a difference, to lead, and to show others that clarity and authenticity matter more than conformity. He was ready to change the world, one honest, heartfelt word at a time. The moment arrived. Leo Reyes walked onto the UN stage. He adjusted the microphone, hands trembling. He took a deep breath, remembering his community. He began to speak. "I am a fisherman." His words, in clear Visayan accented English, cut through the silence. He spoke of the ocean as a living being. He told a story, making climate change personal. Delegates looked up, captivated. Leo's voice was an instrument, painting a vivid picture. He spoke of resilience, joy, and love for home. His emotion was raw and unfiltered. The speech was about humanity, a plea to see beyond charts. He ended with an invitation: come to my village, see with your own eyes, listen with your hearts, help us save our home. When he finished, there was profound silence. Then, a standing ovation. The fishermen had silenced the skeptics. Leo had made his mark. He had changed the world. The impact of Leo's speech was immediate and electrifying. The room erupted in applause and the energy was palpable, as if everyone present knew they had witnessed something historic. Within hours, Leo's words became the lead story on every major news network, dominating headlines across continents. Newspapers declared, "The fisherman's plea, the voice that shook the world." News anchors recounted the speech with awe, emphasizing its global significance. Social media exploded with pride and excitement. Hashtags trended worldwide, and millions shared their reactions online. Filipinos everywhere shared clips, celebrating Leo's success as if it were their own. For many, it was a moment of national pride. Leo had smashed stereotypes, raising awareness about the power of voice and accent. He showed that confidence and authenticity matter more than conformity. Commentators and linguists analyzed his English as a powerful example of world Englishes, highlighting how language evolves and adapts across cultures. People everywhere began to question their own biases, realizing that passion and sincerity always trump accent or background. Leo's speech inspired a new generation to speak up, to be proud of their roots, and to believe in their own voices. Young people saw they didn't have to erase their identity to be heard. They could succeed by being true to themselves. They could embrace their accents as a source of strength. Universities began to discuss accent diversity more openly, and corporations started rethinking hiring biases, realizing the value of diverse voices in their teams. Leo's story sparked a revolution of self-acceptance, encouraging people everywhere to celebrate what makes them unique. Every voice matters. Every accent has a right to be heard. The world is richer when everyone's story is told. The world is a symphony of cultures and languages, each note adding depth and beauty to the global conversation. Leo Reyes taught the world that a message spoken with heart resonates deeply, crossing borders and breaking barriers. The stage is big enough for all of us, no matter where we come from or how we sound. Leo had changed the conversation, opening doors for new perspectives and voices to be heard. He had changed the world, connecting people across continents and inspiring unity through diversity. Leo had made a difference, not just for himself, but for everyone who ever felt unheard. His courage became a beacon for all,